Ever order a food with extra everything only to regret it a few bites in? Yeah, baseball teams make those kinds of decisions too. Like the New York Mets, who are still paying Bobby Bonilla over $1 million every year long after he's retired. Welcome to another episode where we dive into the crazy world of Major League Baseball. Today, we're exploring every MLB team's biggest regrets of the last decade. We've got million-dollar blunders, missed draft picks, regretful signings, ill-timed trades, and risky gambles that backfired, leaving fans scratching their heads. So grab your popcorn, buckle up, and let's see who else besides the Mets struck out with some bad calls. From Crush Davis to a swing and a miss of the Baltimore Orioles. Remember Chris Davis? Dude was launching moonshots and crushing home runs, earning him the nickname Crush Davis. But then came 2016. The Orioles, blinded by those epic home runs, offered him a massive contract, 7 years for $100 million. Let's just say the home runs dried up faster than a free drink at a park, with his batting average plummeting faster than a familiar country's economy. Injuries didn't help, and Davis retired early prior to the 2022 season with 2 years left in his contract. Well, it seemed the Orioles just didn't want to give up and went on a decision to rebuild in 2018, trading off most of their veteran players for young prospects, which is majorly like hitting a reset button. Nope, that did not end well either. Painful, regretful signing of the Kung Fu Panda by Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox saw Pablo Sandoval, aka Kung Fu Panda, and thought, World Series, here we come. They weren't wrong about the World Series part. Sandoval was known for his stellar defense at third base and his clutch hitting as a player for San Francisco Giants. Guess what? San Francisco offered him an extension which they immediately regretted, and he was traded to the Boston Red Sox. Boston should have learnt from the Giants' mistake. Perhaps it's true what they say, experience is indeed the best teacher. Sandoval's panda magic had faded by the time he got to Boston. His hitting went from bam to barely a whimper, and his defense wasn't much better. The Red Sox released him after 3 seasons, proving sometimes a panda just doesn't fit in Beantown. However, Sandoval proved a great player with dedication for the game and that he just wasn't a right fit for the Boston Red Sox when he returned to the San Francisco Giants, providing some solid production in a minor league contract, yet receiving his due payments from Boston. Safe to say, the Red Sox lost both ways. Trade gone wrong in Chicago White Sox. The Chicago White Sox traded away future stars in a desperate attempt to fix their pitching, only to end up with a staff that couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Oh well, they gained something, right? Hefty contracts and underwhelming performances. In a trade gone wrong, the Chicago White Sox traded 4 of their players with the Oakland Athletics just to acquire Jeff Samardzija and RHP Michael Ynoa in 2014. However, Samardzija is quick to show them their risky decision and money's worth in the opposite, failing to live up to high expectations in just 1 season and signing with the San Francisco Giants after becoming a free agent. Meanwhile, 2 of the 4 players White Sox traded, Marcus Semien and Chris Bassett, developed into impact players during their time in Oakland. Colorado Rockies trading a cornerstone. Colorado Rockies' biggest regrets seem to dance between regretful signings and trade-offs, but we will explore both. Stay with me. The team seemed to have a record of signing huge contracts and getting disappointed, and the same is true with Ian Desmond in 2015, with a 5-year $70 million contract. But Desmond turned out to be one of their worst players in the following 3 seasons of the National League. Perhaps the Rockies were not prepared for their next big regret in 2021 after a public rift ensued between their big star player and the team. Nolan Arenado in 2021 was traded by the Colorado Rockies to acquire 5 prospect players, but many considered this not a great offer. Why? They traded their cornerstone. Nolan Arenado wasn't just a star player, but the face of the Rockies. His defensive powers at third base and his consistent power hitting were irreplaceable, leaving fans shocked at the loss of their core. Detroit Tigers. Heady decisions. The Detroit Tigers thought their way of gaining lost ground would be through rushed-in signings and contract extensions. Someone should have told them you can't buy championships or recreate your younger self. The Tigers team had a winning streak as the American League Central champions for 3 years straight, but dipped powerfully, losing 87 games in just a year in 2015. Or it could be true the saying, not to make decisions when you were emotional, because that same year of many losses, in 2015, the team signed Jordan Zimmermann for a 5-year, $110 million contract. It seemed like a very heady decision with Zimmerman's wins in the previous seasons, pitching at an all-star level for the Washington Nationals. Many injuries and losses later, the Detroit Tigers became hopeless and ready to rebuild, but not without an additional trigger from another regret. Like DJ Khaled said, another one. The Detroit Tigers went on to sign an 8-year, $242 million extension contract with Michael Cabrera in 2014 with 2 years left in his contract. Blame them not. Cabrera proved his worth in his previous contract with them with the streak of wins in the 3 seasons that led to the extension contract. However, just at the beginning of the extension contract and the years following that, it was a streak of underwhelming performance instead. Rough decisions and sign stealing of the Houston Astros. For the Houston Astros, the wrong decisions are the easiest to make. We all know about the sign stealing scandal. Let's just say it wasn't their finest moment. Their cheating ways tarnished the whole sport faster than you can say don't do it. Before that, the team itself had undergone big regrets in its signings and trade-offs, with Scott Feldman and J.D. Martinez amongst others. J.D. Martinez, a prospect, was traded to the Detroit Tigers in 2014, and he grew to become one of the best sluggers. Painful. That same year, Scott Feldman was signed in 2014 but was immediately traded in 2016 after an underperformance in 2015. No, that's not the end of their big regrets, the sign stealing. In one way or the other, we've all cheated our way to get what we want, passing blames to your siblings or giving signs for answers in an exam hall. The Astros did a whole mastering in 2017 where it is said they used a technology to decide catcher signs and relay them to the hitters in real time. Talk about cheating in broad daylight. Oh well, they say one day for the owners or catchers in this sense. The team got caught, and this led to a loss of reputation, not just for the team, but also with the baseball community, dragging with it baseball players like Alex Bregman and Jose Altuve, whilst throwing the team into a world of hefty fines, suspensions for management, with the managers and general managers relieved of their duty. Phew. Hope of the Kansas City Royals. After mentioning other teams' lists of biggest regrets, starting with bad contract signings and bad strategic trades, at this point, you're probably thinking the best win is to hold on to record-showing players and hope for the best. Twinsies, the Kansas City Royals thought so too. The team thought they'd learned enough lessons with regretful signings and bad tradeaways and decided to hold on to Wade Davis more than required. Maybe hope? The problem is not the trade-offs or the signings. The problem is timing and the players in question. Wade Davis, with his great fastball and slider, had his value at the peak following the World Series victory in 2015. However, after the team's decision to hold on to him longer, his performance declined, and he was released in 2018 with nothing to gain. Good but not good for the St. Louis Cardinals. You can't make a square peg fit into a round hole, but the St. Louis Cardinals probably thought they had bending magical powers like Avatar. The acquisition of Marcell Ozuna from the Miami Marlins was meant to be a power move by the St. Louis Cardinals, even by giving up 4 promising players in return. Maybe, just maybe, if they hadn't given away 4 players for Marcell, we wouldn't be talking about them. Ozuna was acquired from the Miami Marlins, and he was a great hitter way above average. His performance was that of a star player worth 5 wins more than an average player at his position. So the Cardinals, thinking they were headlining their own World Series tour, traded away 4 promising prospects for this all-star. Despite his evident talent, Ozuna's time in St. Louis didn't live up to the towering expectations. His performance, while solid, never reached the starry heights it had in Miami, leaving many to ponder the true cost of the trade. The real bummer for the St. Louis Cardinals, however, isn't just in Ozuna's underperformance, but in the shining success of the 4 players they traded away to get him. Sandy Alcantara, for instance, went on to clinch the National League Cy Young honors with the Marlins, a testament to his outstanding pitching prowess. Zach Gallen has been making waves as well, consistently ranking among the top pitchers in the National League with performances that command respect. As for the other 2 players involved in the trade, their successes only add salt to the wound, underlining the magnitude of what the Cardinals gave up. Unforeseen regret of the Washington Nationals. Some might argue that the Washington Nationals situation is laced with a unique brand of regret, one marred by the unpredictability of injuries sidelining a star. However, given Steven Strasburg's prior bouts with injuries, this regret might not be as unforeseen as it appears, but rather a gamble driven by hope. That's what I would call the extension deal the Washington Nationals signed with Steven Strasburg, a 7-year, $245 million one. Huge! This has to be the biggest contract from all I've mentioned so far, but well-deserving for Strasburg as he was quite a big star, instrumental in the Nationals' 2019 World Series championship with his dominant pitching. Perhaps if Strasburg had stayed healthy, he might have continued his dominant pitching, but as they say, in the realm of high-stakes sports contracts, hope can be a risky companion, especially when contending with the all-too-common variables of injury and performance dips. Though no one might phrase it quite like that, it's a sentiment many in baseball understand all too well. That's a wrap. Remember, even the best teams make mistakes, but one thing's for sure. These decisions will continue to spark debate and fuel our love for the game. and it's the drama that keeps us wanting more. Now it's your turn to step up to the plate. We've covered some of the most jaw-dropping regrets across the league, but we're sure there are more stories out there. Which team's regret do you think deserves the spotlight? Or is there a particular blunder we missed that still has you shaking your head? Share your thoughts and stories in the comment section below. Your insights might just be the inspiration for our next deep dive into the baseball archives. And if you're hungry for more MLB drama and insights, let us know. We're always game to bring you the stories you crave. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to stay updated on all things baseball. Until next time, keep enjoying the game and its endless twists and turns.